Hi, my name is Senna. A year ago, I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, a debilitating disease that causes severe joint pain. At the time of my diagnosis, I could barely walk, and my running days were completely over. Today, with the help of modern medicine, I'm back on my feet running again and have another significant challenge in front of me. Come along for the journey. Over these next 2 days, I will need to closely monitor my weight and stay ahead of my fluid intake. Currently, I'm tipping the scale at 190.5 pounds. All right, it's time to lace up and head outside. About to begin first miles of my 4x4x48 challenge. Friend on our group, Bob Sutherland, I believe he's out in Colorado, is doing the same. He challenged me, or put it out there, challenged the group, I guess, looking for some runners that were interested, and I bit. So right now I think it's just the two of us, but it's going to be 48 miles over these next 48 hours. This is the beginning. I'm in Tampa. It's 70 degrees. It's beautiful right now. Heavy rain last night, but right now it is perfect conditions to start this. So let's see how it goes. First mile is about to begin. Okay, first 4 miles are in the book in this challenge. 4 down, 44 to go. I'm already soaking wet head to toe, steamy as anything. And with these types of challenges, marathons, etc., you know how it goes, people. We don't get any sleep the night before. For me, it was no different. I think maybe an hour and a half. So I'm sure my heart rate was elevated before I even began. And you know, first 4 miles early morning, a little tough. Hopefully they get better. So we will see you again at 8 a.m. Peace. Hey everybody. This is leg 2 of 12 of my 4x4x48 challenge. I don't know, man. The first leg was a little harder than I thought, actually recovering and being out here right now. I was able to get a few hours sleep, but I feel a little stiff. So I think the toughest part of this is going to be between the runs and how I recover. The running itself, I think, will be fine. It's, between. But anyway, here, it's like already over 70 degrees. The sun is coming out. It's perfect though still right now. I think this run will be fine. Later on this afternoon might be a little different. But my friend there, Bob, he completed his run this morning, the first part. So we're off and running, as they say. This is pretty cool. We're virtually doing this separately. Anyway, we'll see how this goes. Catch you in a little bit. Cheers. 2 down, 10 to go. 8 miles in. Felt good starting out. I think I was going a little too hard for this type of challenge. And by the 4th mile, it kind of caught up on me. Last mile was a little bit of a struggle. So I think heading out at noon today when the sun is up in the middle of the sky, I need to slow down. After sweating profusely through those first 2 runs, I think it's time I check my weight again. Oh man, I'm under 185 pounds. That's nearly 6 pounds lost. Hey, all right, it is leg 3 of this 48-mile journey. Drove up to this lake, West Lake. Very nice place to run around. A little different than running in the streets. So this should be different, except I think it's only a half-mile loop. I'll have to run around this thing about 7 times to get my 4 miles. It's warm. It is like 76 degrees, very humid. So it is what it is. Hey. Segment 3 is complete, although it feels like I've done more. 14, 15, 16. Again, 4th mile, tough. Sunny, hot, humid. I want to show you what I'm dealing with as far as my sweat, the amount of sweat. I sweat from head to toe, soaking through my shoes, my socks.
That's gross.
People, that's a 4-mile run and I sweat like this. I'm not from the south, I'm from the north. The north is drier air, there's cooler temperatures. I've been here how many years? 5 years, wife? I'm acclimating, but still, man, I miss those cool days, cool running because of this. This is insane. Earlier I stepped on the scale, I was down 6 pounds. I'm probably down 10 pounds now. So, I gotta get in the house. The wife has made some good rice. I need to eat.
That's right.
I need to drink a lot and be ready for my 4 p.m. run. Bob, I hope you're doing well, man. I hope you're hanging in there. I'll look for you on Facebook. Peace out. 5 done. 20 miles. Not even halfway there yet. This was much better. Obviously, it's dark, there's no sun, so I do a lot better when there's no sun. 4th mile, still struggling, it seems to be the theme. But I also have been starting out way too fast for this kind of thing. And I know I'm gonna pay the price later. It's just a matter of time. 6 of 12 completed. This one at night, midnight, felt good. Felt like I had a little bit of a second wind, third wind, whatever it is. And cruised, even the 4th mile was pretty good. So, I don't know, man, I gotta keep hydrating, keep eating. Lost a lot of weight, like over 10 pounds, crazy. So that's it. We're halfway through. I think we got some scary miles ahead, but I'm no quitter. I'm sticking with this plan. I'm going. See you in 4 hours. Peace. Of a long distance runner. Not a soul out here, as there shouldn't be at 4 in the morning on a Sunday. On the way back, boy was I cursing myself. because as you know, well, in this case it's opposite, because what went down had to come back up where the truck was parked. I ran downhill at the beginning, had to retrace my steps, come all the way back, and in this humidity and no air, it was difficult. So I'm gonna hurry home and get some rest, and hopefully when I wake up at 7:30 I feel better and ready to tackle the next leg. Peace. This is 5, 2, 7 complete, more than halfway. So between runs, ran at 4 this morning. It's tough, humid, but now I'm severe cramps everywhere in my legs, cramping up big time. Drinking a lot of water, a lot of Gatorade, putting salt in there, sugar in the bottle, trying to eat crackers, get some salt back in me, but hopefully it works. I don't know, I have a feeling I'm going to cramp up on this run. Definitely slowing down though, man. I can feel it. I got no spark in the leg, no kick. I can't pick it up. I'm just doing what I can do. So, time to go home and rest. Drink up. I'll see you at noon. Peace. So we're getting there. 3 more to go. 3 more legs of this journey to go. Definitely cramping up, and between runs it's really tough to get enough liquids and sodium in me to replace the amount I'm losing. And I find when I start running, I'm so full of, I feel like I'm full of water that I'm getting like the side stitch from being full of water. Go figure, I don't know. I've never done anything like this, so this is all new to me, figuring it all out. Peace for now. 179.4. 10 of 12. I think that makes it 40 miles in the books. It seems my energy level gets me to about 2 miles. Third one, I use whatever reserve I have, and the fourth one, I got nothing. I am empty. It is empty tank. And I'm just literally trying to put one step in front of the other. Ooh, this is tough. Goggins, you really, much respect, let's just put it that way. This is quite a challenge. This is nice. I like it. See you in 4 hours. Of 12. Beat up pretty good now. Unfortunately, had to stop for the first time in this whole journey right about mile 43 and 7/8. I extended my left foot to go up a curb, and right away locked. Try to run it, no good. So I had to stop, stretch it, walk a little bit, and hobble it into the finish line. And that sucks, man. I was gonna be really proud of that, not stopping in the whole 48 miles. So this wasn't meant to be, I guess. But we got one more to go. Should be a real hoot. Real hoot. See you at midnight. Last 4 miles of my challenge. Just got back from the last 4 miles. It's done. The challenge is complete, man. The 4x4 48 is in the books. This last 4 miles, I felt good. It's slow, but I don't know, like I was moving. I before I left the house, I was getting all kinds of cramps. I was worried that I'd be walking some of this some of these miles here, but that didn't happen. Ran all the way through, slow pace, focused, and made it. So pretty pleased with that. It's tough. I mean, all my muscles are spazzing here, and dehydration, lack of sleep, definitely. That's one of the things I was pretty good at, is napping between work, whatever, things going on in the house. I could lay down for a minute and get a quick 10 minutes, but when you're running and I don't know, I just couldn't sleep. I couldn't really get a good night, good hour's sleep. Definitely a little sleep deprived. Try to lie down and my legs would start spasming, my ribs would not. So once that started happening, I would jump in the hot shower and try to get that under control. So again, sleep was not happening. Nutrition, I did the best I could. Wife made some nice rice, pancakes, a lot of that. I don't want to taste another Gatorade bottle for a week. Blue Gatorade, just thought of it. I've had enough of that. Yeah, so good stuff. It's good stuff, man. Feels good. Feels good to complete it. I will think about this, gather some thoughts, and then have one last piece in a day or two. All right, until then, happy running. Hey everybody. So that last segment you just watched was recorded 8 months ago. And in that segment I said I'd have a couple of comments for you to wrap things up. Well, here we are. That was in April. It's now January 3rd. And I'm finally getting around to completing this project. Obviously, you know what's been going on. The pandemic has put everybody's life on hold, and projects have been put on hold, including this one, but finally getting around to complete it, and I'm glad you're watching. What about Bob? Bob finished. Bob completed all his runs. I can't thank Bob enough. He put out that invite, and I bet, and hopefully next time around we have a lot more runners. Maybe even yourself will join us. So our group was Forever Runners Over 50. It's on Facebook. Check it out. A lot of good people on there. A lot of inspiring runners. A lot of good runners. Very encouraging group. So that's how Bob found me, and it was, great stuff. So moving on, I want to share a little bit more about my rheumatoid arthritis, or RA as it's commonly known. Please know that my goal is to help you and inspire you. Full disclosure, the treatment plan that works for me may not work for you. I'm just sharing my experience in hopes that I can help somebody. Prior to my diagnosis, I thought RA only affected people who were not active and who were much older than I was. It wasn't until one morning I got out of bed and I had swelling in my ankles, my hands were swollen, I had stiff joints, and just general achiness everywhere. At first I thought some of my old injuries were catching up to me, and just as fast as the swelling and the achy joints hit me, it went away. So I didn't think much of it. I kind of dismissed it and went on with my life. But a few days later, achiness again. I was working out in the garage. I was on my feet for a little while, and I looked down and my ankles were extremely swollen, and at that point I thought something was wrong, but I couldn't figure out what it was. Along with the swelling, and achy joints, again, just like this fatigue, just tiredness, just didn't feel good. Almost like the flu, feeling that achy feeling you get with the flu. That's how it felt for me. One of the days when I was hurting and feeling really bad, I happened to run into a friend, Tommy, and he looked at me and said, "Dude, what's the matter with you? You got, what's happening?" And I explained how I was feeling, and he said, "You might have Lyme disease. You got to get a blood test. Call your doctor, get checked out." So I did, and it was hearing it from somebody else. So made an appointment with my doctor. She did lab work, took my blood, and a couple of days later, I got a phone call, and she told me that my RA factor was elevated, and that I needed to follow up with a rheumatologist. At that time, I'm thinking, okay, she's a family doctor, and I have an elevated RA, but I really needed to see a specialist to confirm what she was saying. I didn't feel like this was a diagnosis of any kind. I wasn't going to panic or anything. I was still almost not believing or needing more proof. So after I got the initial diagnosis of that my RA factor was elevated, the normal range is 14, I was well above that. I made an appointment to see the rheumatologist, and by the time the appointment rolled around, I could barely get into the office. I was in such pain. At that first rheumatologist appointment, several tests were performed. More blood was drawn. The doctor drained my knee of fluid. An ultrasound was done. X-rays were done of my hands, knees, and feet. They were basically trying to check to see how far the disease had progressed. They were looking for fusion of my joints. That's the worst. That's why you can't wait. You wait too long, the disease attacks your joints and causes them to fuse. So at that appointment, they put me on, I left that appointment, the doctor put me on prednisone to begin to get the swelling to reduce, to get me to feel a little bit better. The following Friday, I was back in the office to receive a confirmation that I had severe RA, and the disease had progressed to the point where some of my joints were unfortunately fusing together. At that point, my rheumatologist prescribed weekly doses of methotrexate, which helped decrease the activity of the immune system, my immune system. At that point, I remember leaving the office and my head was spinning. Now I knew I had something serious. And the first thing I did is I got home and got on the internet and did research on WebMD and all these other sites. And one of the first things that I read was that someone with rheumatoid arthritis, their life expectancy is reduced by 10 to 15 years. And that was tough to take. You know, again, I was active, a runner, healthy, and suddenly, like, it felt like overnight I got this, and now everything was changing. And man, you know, it set me back for a little while. I was in a tough place for 24 hours, you know, feeling sorry for myself, and it just wasn't cool. But I decided to follow what the doctor was prescribing and follow the doctor's treatment plan, and give it a try fully to see if it was going to work for me. So, you know, one of the other things I did too is when I was researching symptoms and all that and treatment plans, I was also looking to see if there was somebody out there like me, an athlete who had RA, rheumatoid arthritis, and was continuing to perform, you know, to play their sports. I couldn't find anything. I couldn't. I looked high and low, and just could not find any material to put my mind at ease, to say, hey, this person had it, and today they take this medicine and they're continuing to run, they're pain-free. I didn't find anything. You know, that's one of the reasons I'm making this video, doing this project, was to let somebody else out there, a runner, know who has RA, that there's somebody else like you, and with the treatment plan and modern medicine, you know, you can run again. You can feel better again. So, at my next appointment, you know, I said I was prescribed the methotrexate, but during that time, you know, I'm doing blood labs every week or every other week, and I'm also being prescribed prednisone when I'd have these flare-ups, because the methotrexate on its own wasn't working completely. It didn't, you know, I'd have days when I'd just wake up and my ankle would swell and I'd be in such severe pain that the doctor prescribed a cycle of prednisone, and that worked. That did work for me. It made me feel better, but it also made me a little crazy in the head. So there were definitely side effects of all of these medicines. So the prednisone was great for one thing, but not so good for the other. But this went on for, I think, about 2 or 3 months, just the methotrexate every week, and occasionally a cycle of prednisone. Eventually, my rheumatologist put me on Humira as well, which was another shot. It was every other week. So I had methotrexate weekly, Humira every other week, and I tell you, within a couple of weeks, I was feeling really good. In fact, I think it was like a week after I was on the Humira, I felt well enough to go out for a run. I put on my running sneakers, took it really slowly, went for a mile run, came back, and you know, it was great just to be able to do that, because I really thought at one point my running days, like I said in the video, in the segment earlier, my running days were over. So yeah, it was good to get back out there. A long way off from where I wanted to be, but just running again was good for for everything. So I'm feeling good, I'm running, and you know, the key is, once I got in front of the right doctors, the rheumatologist, they were great at quickly diagnosing the problem and getting me started on the right medications to feeling better. And the key for me, you know, was making sure I gave my blood I think it was every 2 months, for them to keep their eye on the levels and make sure the medicine was doing what it was supposed to do and my body was responding properly. So that was key. That continues to happen to this day. Nothing has changed. It's every 2 or 3 months I go in, give blood, and follow up with an appointment to talk to her, and she checks and makes sure that I'm still feeling well and the medicine's working. And right now they've reduced my dosage of methotrexate to, I think, like 0.2 every week, and the goal is to completely eliminate that one and stay on Humira. So I can't thank them enough. I really can't. my life today, I'm pain-free, you know. I haven't had any terrible side effects being on the medicines. Everything has been good. I'm able to live a active, healthy lifestyle. You know, I just take my medicine and I live my life. And I can't thank that team enough. I really can't. So, for you out there, if you're suffering, you know, the first thing is to get to see your doctor and ask for a blood test and get to the bottom of it, see what's happening, man. And don't wait, because if the longer you wait, the more damage this disease does. It attacks your joints, it fuses them together. And at that point, you know, I don't know what the solution is if that happens. For me, I think it just happened a little bit in my right hand, and you know, still good. So my knee too, something was going on my knee, and she drained that, and we're good. So I'm able to run. I don't feel any pain there. Obviously, I can use my hands. I'm not feeling any pain there either. So it's all good with the RA as long as I continue to take my medicine as prescribed. For you out there, again, see a doctor, get the blood test, don't wait, and then go from there, see what's going on. I wish you well. In closing, I'd like to tell you about my Uncle John Mortell. Uncle John was recently diagnosed with a terminal illness, and my hope is that he gets to see this just so he knows how much he's meant to me. My earliest memories of him are watching him drive up on his brand new shiny Indian motorcycle. As a returning Vietnam vet, with his long flowing hair, it was a sight to be had, I'll tell you. It really was. Left an impression on me, and I was 8 years old. It wasn't long after that Uncle John began to run. Oftentimes I'd see him come out of his house in his running attire and take off down the street heading towards the beach. He was long-legged, he was tall, he had that long hair, a powerful stride, and the guy could motor. He could really run. I remember playing baseball, and there was Uncle John running along the perimeter of the park. And some kids on the bench, I heard them talking, and they're saying, "Look at that guy fly, imagine having his speed." And there I was like, that's my uncle, you know, that's my Uncle John. So it wasn't long after that I took to, you know, I brought it up. I said, "Hey, you know, I'd like to run, maybe can I tag along with you?" And Uncle John saw the excitement in my eyes, and he brought me to, I think it was the Tonic running store, got my first running shoes, and off I went, you know. John and I would, you know, we were running road races every weekend, talking about running, talking about a lot of the people you see behind me, Bill Rogers and Prefontaine, and everything was running. We loved running, we talked it, we ate it, we slept it, and just couldn't get enough of it. It was like every weekend we were piling into his sky blue Volkswagen van and heading to the next race. It was another adventure. John was always up for a good time, and oftentimes it was at a race. So, yeah, Uncle John, very adventurous, open-minded. You know, he knew everybody in the running community, everybody. You'd see him talking to everybody, had connections everywhere. If we were out in Hopkinton, he had a house to go to get ready before the marathon. At these road races, John would always position himself up front with the elites, and he would hold his own. John would go out with them and run as hard as he could, and whether he won or came in the top 10 or fell apart, he made no excuses. He ran hard, and he was there to compete with the best. I believe he won a master's title in Massachusetts at one point. But he believed in himself, and he didn't make any excuses. Fast forwarding, it's 1981. Uncle John, it's the eve of the Boston Marathon. Uncle John's in my kitchen. He's talking to my mom. He's talking about the race. You know, talk all about the race. Tomorrow's the race, blah, blah, blah. And I'm listening to him, and I look up at him, and I say, you know, Uncle John, someday I want to run that race with you. And that's all he needed to hear. That's all Uncle John needed to hear. The wheels start spinning. He says, I'll tell you what, Mark. You come with me tomorrow. We'll pin $5 on your shorts. If you can't make it, you can take the T back to Boston, and I'll meet you at the fire station. All right. Up until this point, the furthest I had run was a 10K. I had done many 10K races, but my training was limited. It was, you know, training for a 10K. I was 14 years old, so wasn't out running long distances at that time. But I figured, you know, maybe I make 10 miles, maybe I make 13 miles. I have the money, I'll take the T. I'm a city guy, I know how to take the T, no problem. So off we went. We got on a school bus in the morning, we were out in Hopkinton and getting ready for the race. The race, we start lining up. Uncle John gets up to the front with all the top runners and tells me to go all the way to the back, all the way to the back. Okay? Now, mind you, I know some of you out there are like, yay, he's a bandit, he banded Boston Marathon. This is long before marathon investigations. This is long before any of that. Running the marathon without a bib was actually accepted, at least in Boston. Oftentimes there was a fella back there who would sell us this number that was printed. It was the year of the race, so in that case 1981, the number was 1981, and it would say back of the pack snakes, and it was Groucho Marx who was selling these. I remember it clear as day. So it was accepted back then. Now, totally different. You got to qualify, have a number, or you're not getting anywhere near it. That's understood and accepted. So again, back to the race. It's 1981. I'm in the back. The gun goes off. Uncle John takes off. I make my way past the starting line, and off we go. I figured I'll make 10 miles. Somewhere in Natick, I'll call it a day. The excitement and adrenaline carried me through Natick. I remember running at one point, looking over and seeing the Johnny Kelly, giving him a little wave, and he waves to me, head down, and he's still trucking, and I'm doing okay too. I'm feeling pretty good. I've gone already beyond 6 miles. I'm at mile 10. I figure maybe, all right, I'll hold on. I'll get into Wellesley at the halfway point and then look for the T. So somewhere in Wellesley, I'm beginning to feel the effects of my minimal training, but I can hear this screaming up ahead, and curious. I've never run the race before. I don't know where I am. I go towards the screaming, and it's the Wellesley College girls in this tunnel of craziness. And how can you stop now with this going on? So I continued. I carried on. That kept me going for another mile or two. And now I'm at the halfway point. I'm in Wellesley Center, and I still don't see a city T-bus or a train. So I'm a little lost. I'm seeing that the only way to get home right now is to continue to run. At one point, I remember looking down, I see a lady on the sidewalk in a wheelchair, and she's holding a sign, run for me. And I'm like, man, I can't quit now. Look, this lady is in a wheelchair, and I'm hurting, but so again, more reason to continue to run, and I just kept running. Later on, I'm now heading through the hills, the Heartbreak Hill, and I look over and I see this man pushing a wheelchair, and it ended up being the Hoyts, and I think it was their first marathon as well, and They're struggling to get up the hill. We're all struggling to get up the hill. I wasn't ready to quit. I got up and over that hill, and now I'm into the Boston College area, and those kids are partying hard, and they're encouraging me to continue on, and they're not letting me quit. No way. You're not quitting in front of Boston College with the madness that's going on there. So I continued on. Just after I passed through Boston College, there it is, the first sighting of a T trolley. It was the Green Line. I know the Green Line. I could take the $5 and get on this and get back to the finish line to meet my uncle, but 22-mile mark, I'm not quitting now. I'm gonna finish it. So I continued on. Finally, I know I'm close. I can hear the screaming. I turn onto Hereford Street. I'm running up Hereford Street. I'm about to take a left onto Boylston Street, and I hear, "Hey, Mark!" It's Uncle John. He's standing in the fire station, right in front of the fire station at the corner, just as he said he would be. And he yells out to me. And how cool, man. So I give him a quick wave, and I continue on down the rest of to the finish line, and get through the finish line, and there's Uncle John standing there, beaming with pride, big smile on his face, and he says, "I knew you could do it. I knew you could do it." Yeah. He believed in me when I wasn't so sure about myself, my chances. He believed in me. My Uncle John freely shared his love of running with me, and I'll forever be thankful to him for that.